Hey, welcome back. It's been a while, hasn't it? And boy, is it loud here. So anyway, welcome. Welcome to the place where the news never stops. And it only gets more ridiculous, actually. Here, siren, ready? Oh, no, that was the microwave, not the siren. Okay, hold on. Lucas, can you get my glasses in my bag, which is next to where Daniel's screaming? Oh, let me put this lower. Are we caught up? So everybody, welcome back to Jerusalem. Let me see. I'm just checking to see if I missed anything. I had it on pause for the longest time, and now I should actually put it lower. You know, one thing I wanted to tell you guys, and I think I always forget to say it in the lives, is that, yeah, and no, it's in my bag. So just bring me my bag and shut the door because Daniel is having like a concert in there. So anyway, there is so much going on. Hi, Walter. Hi, Shalom. You were just here, weren't you? I saw that on Facebook. Oh, not those. In my bag. Just bring my bag here. It'll just make it a lot easier. The black bag. Okay, anyway, so there's so much going on and I have a lot to catch up on. So I figure let me do this quick today. Can you please shut the door so we don't have to hear Daniel's concert? Daniel's having like a concert. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I'm trying to use a directional microphone so that you don't hear the rest of the house like going off right now. Anyway, there's just so much going on. So, and it's been a while. I think like the last time, hi, Iman, how are you? Oh, awesome. Nice to see you here too. So I'm just going to do a catch up because I think the last time I did this was maybe before the rockets that happened on October 1st. I mean, I did some live streams on that day, but I don't feel like I did anything. And what's today's like the 13th, the 14th. So I think it's been almost 2 weeks since I've done anything. So, whatever. So, okay, I'm glad about the audio. Thank you very much for the feedback on that. Because it is loud. There's like TV, device number 1, device number 2, device number 3 over there, plus singing out loud, and then me as well. So anyway, I mean, I don't know where to start because there's so much. Like, for instance, I mean, do I start with like if you just like start with right now? Just today, they just reported right now on the news that there were 100 rockets, etc., fired from Lebanon by Hezbollah. So, I mean, you were probably here like through all of the assassination. Can you shut the light there? Yeah, that's good. All right, the assassinations of Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah. That was, I think, on September 27th. And then since then, it was like also like all of his like inner cabinet and his second in command, the guy who was going to take his place, the one that was next in line. Anyway, it was just now they haven't named a new successor because maybe it's like a little dangerous position at the moment. Also like the exploding pagers, the beepers, everything. So, and then since then, Israel was just launching nonstop attacks in Lebanon, especially in the Dahia neighborhood, which is what Hezbollah controls. That's in Beirut, in the capital. But lately, the Israeli army also entered Lebanon on in a ground invasion, not, maybe not an invasion, but more like exploratory. And I do have some videos and things to show you from that. But despite the fact that the high command of Hezbollah has been taken out, they still have quite an arsenal of rockets. I mean, not just rockets. In fact, what happened yesterday in another huge tragedy, like an attack that actually succeeded, they managed to breach the Israeli airspace or the Israeli air defense by shooting UAVs. What is it? Unmanned air aviation vehicles, something like that, or aerial vehicle. I'm not sure. Into Israel, and they seem to fly like at a low altitude, and they bypassed the warning system as well, so that there were no sirens and nobody ran for cover, and they landed on a base, on a military base, in the dining hall while people were eating. And so far, 4 soldiers have been killed in that, and there's still something like 60 to 70 that are wounded. So that was a major attack. And also the fact that it did hit the military installation just goes to show that there might be a little bit of refining of accuracy that's going on with Hezbollah. Whereas before, I mean, definitely with Hamas's rockets, which were coming from Gaza, they were more crude in their construction, and they're also they're not programmed and they can't be aimed. They're not high tech. They were just very crude projectiles that could be launched. But Hezbollah has a much more serious, high-tech range of weapons, including the drones. And apparently they have already shot something like 600 at Israel in last year, according to this thing that I just saw. But they also they have shot something like between Hamas, Hezbollah, and then Iraq, Syria, Yemen, like whoever the groups within Iraq, Syria, and Yemen and Iran. It's over 30,000 rockets, missiles, drones, etc., launched at Israel in the last, like, just in a year. So actually, the fact that there have been so few casualties from that is just, it goes to show like that the air defense system works really well. However, these drones at the same time, maybe with other projectiles that were launched, seem to have bypassed the warning system. And so they were able to get through and just go straight to their target. There were 3 launched at the same time, and 2 of them, I maybe were shot down over Haifa. I don't know, shot down or landed, but they didn't, like, they did no damage. I think I think they were shot down over the sea, and then this one. So that was actually that was really big news yesterday for Israel. But then, so America has this system called THAAD or THAAD, or like it's a double A, THAAD. I mean, maybe you're just supposed to say THAAD, but the American, the Defense Department, America, and all of its wonderful initials, and how they use the string letters together to make words. So anyway, I'm not really sure how to say THAAD or THAAD, but there were rumors that the Pentagon was going to send this air defense battery to Israel, but apparently it is confirmed, and they're going to do that, also with about 100 troops. So now I don't know if that's because they're still expecting an attack by Iran, or by Israel on Iran, or a preemptive strike from Iran. I kind of doubt that. But, since the October 1st, 200 missiles fired at Israel, ballistic missiles that get here in like 12 minutes from Iran, there hasn't been an Israeli response. Like, there's still the Israelis are still like going after Hezbollah leadership, also IRGC leadership. That's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is Iranian, and they're also like in Syria. They've gone after them in Syria. There are also reports that Israel has that its soldiers have made incursions into Syria. And there was one report, I have not been able to confirm, that they are building like some kind of wall or structure. So I don't know anything about that. And I was frantically like trying to find that out before I came on the air. So I'm just going to have to leave that for another episode, or maybe you've heard it or have been able to confirm it. But, and I wonder if it has to do with something that we should talk about next. So the, missiles. So despite the fact that there's no functioning leadership that we know of in Hezbollah, they have somehow been able to broaden their range and the intensity of their attacks. So all day long, there are alerts for different parts of the country, mostly the north. But so there was. Oh, wait, I have to pause and say this is a great theory, Carol. I think that Biden sent the THAAD as part of a deal to hold up the attack on Iran until after the election. Yes. Oh my gosh, there we go. Of course, because wouldn't they have done that earlier? Okay. All right. So that's a good point. So I wonder also if that's why, if Israel has been asked to hold off till after the election, because Israel has not responded to that attack. So which is, everybody kind of felt it was going to be right away. That was the attack where 100% of the country, including Palestinians here, were, like in Gaza and the West Bank, whatever, everybody got an alarm to go to a shelter. So yeah, so Israel has not responded to that. So maybe this is all part of American politics. Thank you for reminding me about the factor of the elections and in all of these scenarios. So there have been about 100 rockets every day, and now it's not just those names we got used to up in the north, like Avivim and Misgav Am and places like that I only heard of because of these alerts. But also, wait, sorry, cabin. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So interesting. So maybe I'll talk about that later. So suddenly Haifa has been a big target. So actually, so let's go do maps and stuff, because that's always fun. What's happening? Okay. All right. So let's see. So we're going to go. So this is where we live here in Jerusalem. But let's go look at. Oh, wait. Oh, I started typing Haifa. Look at that. Let's go to Gaza. Here, let me make sure that. Where am I? Make that bigger and me smaller. It's like scriptural, right? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, you can use my phone. Yeah. All right. So here's Haifa over there on the coast. Now, just to give you a perspective, here's Lebanon in the north, and then you've got the Gaza Strip down here, very small. No, but you go on the balcony if you want. And then, okay, I've got to make it a little bigger because here is Haifa. So it's north of Tel Aviv. You can see I think it takes about an hour and a half to get there. And then here is the border with Lebanon right here. And then Syria over here. So now but mind you, the stars have nothing to do with rocket attacks. I think because this is like, I'm signed into my Google. These are places that I've been. So sorry about that. But the rockets are really getting heavier in this area here from Haifa and Carmiel. I think there was some that landed today in Carmiel. Blanket, not on the floor. I'm coming back. Sfat as well, if you go up here. So all of these places and also they're not evacuated. And then here's Kiryat Shmona up here. Now, a lot of the places that are like very much on the border, like right around here, are evacuated. Like I know Shlomi here is evacuated, and Kiryat, I don't know if Kiryat Shmona is technically evacuated, although people are still staying there. So a lot more rockets going on now. Where the one that landed yesterday is Binyamina. So let's see, let's see where we can find Binyamina. There was a base there in Binyamina. Okay, so it was south. All right, they're in the circle, so south of Haifa. And then today, there were three. I think it was ground to ground missiles were fired, and they set off the alarms for this entire region right here, from Haifa down to Tel Aviv. Oh, actually, from where it says acre, like we say Akko, but from here down to Tel Aviv, like all of this area had sirens. So anyway, so you can see like that they're really like picking up now with their attacks. Hold on, I'm gonna get my water bottle, which is right here. So now let's look at what Israel has put out to show what they have. Let me see what they have discovered on the border when they did the ground incursions into Lebanon. They came back with some videos such as these. So let's take a look. I just have to now find the tab. Okay. All right. So another tunnel. So it looks like Gaza all over again. All right. So I'm going to explain this right here. Look at this. Oh, wait. I skipped. Look at this. This is coffee right here. Coffee, cigarettes. Guys, this coffee is still wet. This isn't like from months ago. This is from recent. The water bottles, there's still water in them. So these are underground bunkers that are on the border, very close to the border with Israel. And they're equipped with weapons. They've got, like, here you go, a refrigerator, fresh food in there, sinks. Oh my gosh, it looks like humanitarian aid is ready to go. And motorcycles. What were they going to do with these motorcycles? Well, the Israeli army says that they were going to actually ride into Israel on these motorcycles. Now, in other videos, which I'm not sure that, I have pictures, but not videos. I'm going to show you some other stuff. They showed, let me see. They showed some of these. These are pictures. These are like weapons and detonators that were on the border, like literally like in the bushes in southern Lebanon on the border with Israel. And some of these, like, I think these were going to be used to explode like the fence or the wall or whatever, and be able to go through. I mean, I can't really technically tell you what that is and what that is, but it doesn't look good. All right, so let's see what else was there. We got some other stuff. All right, here's another video. I think I have to go back to the beginning. Oh, I think there's going to be audio on that. Okay, yeah, this is the other point I wanted to make here. So, there is this force, this special peacekeeping force that was made just for Lebanon, Israel. It's called UNIFIL. So it's like United Nations International UNIFIL Force. Oh my gosh, wait. Oh, I had it before and I cannot remember. It's for Lebanon. Interim forces in Lebanon. So they're peacekeeping. They're just supposed to be there to keep, since the war between Israel and Lebanon. It's just like to keep the truce, to hold the truce there. So this is what he's saying, is that there's this post right here, the UNIFIL post, and then he goes, walks a little bit, and he's like, look what's right here. A tunnel shaft. 5 meters. It's like more than 15 feet or so. So he said that connects to another tunnel shaft. And it's just right out there in the woods. Another one that connects underground of 5 meters and comes to where? Shlomi, that's near Shlomi, the town we saw near the coast, the Israeli town near the coast. So, all right, so this is, so these are some of the things that they're talking about in Israel over the last few days, that it looked like Hezbollah, and they found plans, 2 weeks ago, they found plans that they wanted to do like an October 7th style invasion. It was probably not after October, like named after October 7th or inspired by, because it was probably written before. And everybody maybe was supposed to do it the same day, Hamas and Hezbollah. But it was, the plans were there. And as you can see, it was like they were ready to go. So I'm not sure exactly whether it's the Israeli bombings of Beirut. Is that what stopped them? I'm not sure. Now, another thing that I heard, again, unable to confirm, is that Israel's been going after Hezbollah banks all around Lebanon, and that Hezbollah is now without cash. Like they have no money. Like a lot of because there's the bombings that Israel has done of Lebanon they're not just in Beirut. They're also like in Sidon and in just in other cities around. And so you always wonder what they were after. But I heard that they were after the cash, and so that Hezbollah does not have cash. No, I'm not sure if that's true. Now, Hezbollah does have weapons, and they're proving it on a daily basis by the quantity of rockets and quality rockets that they're shooting, and some of which, it's interesting, the fact that they were able to figure out to get to a military base and also to bypass the warning system means that they probably just enhance their strategy, and they might be able to use them more. So it'll just be interesting to see where they take it from here. Now, all right, I have a few minutes remaining before we have to go and watch Monk, because we're not done yet with Monk. We're in season 8, and I believe we have maybe just about 10 more episodes or something like that. And we got to do that at a reasonable hour so that people can go to bed at a reasonable hour. I'm not talking about myself. Okay, so last but not least, so Gaza. Remember Gaza? Do you guys remember that there was a war there, that it started there? Do you remember or know that there are still 101 hostages? I mean, it's just almost never in the news. You almost never hear it or see it. Now, the families of the hostages, I don't think I've been on since then. I met the father of a hostage, a 20-year-old girl named Agam. And he said, I asked him specifically, I said, so since all the focus went to the north, how do you guys feel? And he said, oh, horrible. Like nobody's paying attention. We feel abandoned. And there's like not even, it's just gone. It's just completely out of the news. Now, I wanted to talk about this a couple weeks ago, and then I got derailed by, there was just, so much content that I didn't finish it. But I did say, like, what is the Israeli plan for Gaza? Now, just saying those words sounds weird, because why should it be the Israeli plan for Gaza? Like, should it also be the Palestinian plan for Gaza? Just, it's a loaded topic. Okay, guys, it's just loaded. Like to just say, who should decide what happens to Gaza is already loaded. But it looks like Israel the plan that would be them unilaterally deciding what happens to Gaza, that has very slowly crept into effect. Now, I wanted to talk about it a couple weeks ago, and I didn't get to it. And now, just like in the last couple days, I saw like a lot of in the random headlines that you can catch to find out what's happening in Gaza. They've been in Jabalia. So let's go to, and sorry that I'm butchering the word most likely. Let me go to the map. So let's see where that is exactly in Gaza, because that will help us understand. Please be the Jabalia in Gaza. Yes. Okay. So here it is, very North Gaza. Okay. When you see also Gaza right here, it's not just naming this strip right here, which is, by the way, I think it's 26 miles north to south, but also Gaza is for Gaza City. Gaza City would be like one of the major cities, Khan Yunis being another one, Rafah, of course. Now, Israel is still in Rafah and still controlling the Philadelphia corridor. But now Jabalia here in the north. Now, this is where things get very controversial and tricky. And so I read about this plan. I'm looking for my notes. I read about this plan a couple weeks ago, and it's from this general called Giora Island. And I was like, wow, I recognize the name. And I realized he's been on the news every night. He's like one of the panelists, like the just a regular staple here. And now they're calling it the general's plan. And what it is, and just, basically more or less, is that they're going to implement a forced evacuation and then siege on all areas of Gaza methodically until they get to a point of complete control. And it's going to start in the north and move to the south. Now, as you can see, Jabalia is in the north. So I believe that this plan is actually in effect right now. I mean, I haven't heard it officially approved. It just looks like a military strategy right now, but it seems like it is in effect. I mean, it's to me, it's like also political. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't like being approved like by the cabinet or something, but it looks like this is exactly what is happening. So so let me find some of the relevant details that I wanted to. Let me see. I'm just gonna get this article, because this was in Haaretz, and this is fascinating. But most likely what's going to happen is I'm not going to be able to open it on this. Nope, I can't open it on this one. I'm sorry. So let me just read you some of the relevant the relevant issues here. Is that they're going to basically use buffer zones, and they're going to tell everybody in an area to evacuate, force the evacuation, and then after they've given the relevant time for the evacuation, then whatever's left in that area, whoever's left is going to be first. They're going to receive zero humanitarian aid. I guess that you could say starved. There will be no humanitarian aid into that area. And then after the remaining people still don't surrender or anything, then they are going to be considered terrorists. And then they will proceed to then carry out their military plans, take over whatever. I really don't know. I don't have the exactly what they were going to do. But it looks like that is what is in effect right now, just simply by the fact that they are starting with Jabalia, and then it looks like they'll be moving south. Now, this still, like, as much as you don't hear about Gaza, there are still soldiers, Israeli soldiers being killed there. There are still Palestinians being killed there. I mean, the Palestinian death toll that they've released is close to 50,000. I don't know the exact number right now, but it's like upper 40s. And a lot of people like to say, oh, but that's the Hamas controlled Ministry of Health, and so Hamas is inflating the numbers and whatever. Okay, so if it's half, it's even half of 50,000 is a high number. The death toll in Lebanon, the last I checked, was 2,000, and I know it's got to be much higher than that. And it was probably a week, a couple days ago. But anyway, so you can see that this is what's happening. What's going to be happening in Gaza if this plan goes through is going to probably, once the press wakes up again or something, or the international, there's going to be outrage, because what I could tell you is, like, there are Israelis who love the plan and think it's the only way that they're going to be able to have victory, because there's a stated goal and outcome, and otherwise they're just going to be fighting and occupying for years. But there's the Palestinians who, there's the Palestinian Authority, which is separate from Hamas and is in the West Bank, and they want to say in what happens. Hamas, of course, still wants to say in what happens, and so it's going to be very interesting what is the actual outcome. Now, also there's Saudi Arabia, who has said we have a plan for Gaza, but then and then some people say no, we don't have a plan. No, I don't know. It's all like hazy coming out. So I am really surprised that nobody said anything yet, but it looks like this is just sort of taking place even before. At anybody, I guess, while nobody's watching, basically. Okay, Emily says, Hamas has been stopping the citizens from moving. I heard beating them and won't let them go. Is this the same situation? It's another situation. It's not, oh, you mean from places? Well, Hamas has been, I'm not sure if that's actually what's happening in Jabalia, but quite possibly, because this is something that they have done. Forcing them to remain in houses and in schools or whatever, in places that were Israel told them to evacuate. Yes, I mean, and it's been happening all along. So if it's happening more so now, I don't know. But that's a great question. So. Okay, so I think all right, so I said, did the IDF go into Syria? And we don't know. And the islands plan. Okay, so the islands, not islands like an exotic island. It's EILAND. Giora Island is his name. And so one thing that I did see today was that they haven't had humanitarian aid trucks into northern Gaza for a while, actually. And so today was like the first day in since Israel began this offensive there. This is the first day that they actually put through aid. So anyway, so that's where we're at. I'm sure I forgot a million things. I'm trying to think. North, South, Jerusalem. Jerusalem's easy peasy. Sorry, it's like Jerusalem's easy for now. Israel hasn't done right. We talked about that Israel hasn't launched its response, and of course that means Iran hasn't launched its response. I think one day, one of these times, what I really want to talk about is Lebanon. I read such an amazing article by an Armenian, actually, like in Armenia, like nothing to do with here. It just happened to come in my newsfeed about the history of Lebanon and like the recent history and just how Hezbollah became so powerful. And also then why, Iran knew to put the brakes on in this war. Like, if you saw like when Hamas, jumped in like on October 7th, it was huge. And had the other terror groups jumped in, it would have been a disaster for Israel. but they didn't. Like Hezbollah hesitantly got involved. They launched their like couple rockets a day, 10 to 20 or whatever, maybe even fewer. And then Yemen, still a couple here and there. And by the way, Yemen is still like they're still shooting things here and there, drones and missiles and stuff like that. And also there are other groups in Iraq and Syria that are also shooting. So anyway, if so Hezbollah finally took it a little too far, was the point of this article, was that the Hezbollah took it a little too far, whereas Iran was like, oh, we need to attack you to save face, but we're going to let you know when exactly and how many, which is why everybody in the country was already ready for the sirens. And then there was only one casualty in the last attack, and it was Palestinian man in Jericho who you saw like the CCTV footage, and he was just walking around outside and was hit. So anyway, so I think I'll do that another time, just to talk about Lebanon, because I think like it's really interesting, and it's not like this totally different. Whereas like, yes, what's happening in Gaza is an extension of what's called the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but what's happening in Lebanon and in northern Israel is not the Israeli-Lebanese conflict. It's Hezbollah, and so to know like who they are and what they're doing there and stuff like that. So I should go back to this lovely map so you can see. And there it is up there by all the stars. So I got really close, but I never got in. So anyway, all right. Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And we're about to go into another round of holidays, but it's the last one for a while. And actually, that means I'll be more available probably. But anyway, thank you so much, and have a good